Hi, it's Rosa. It's good to see you again. Hey, I just want to give you an update since my last video and talk to you about some of the things that I've been working on, or some of the things that are working for me, and some of the sparks that I've had, both old and new, and how those are going. So last video I talked about buying a new coat. I bought it at Costco for $29 to keep me warm, and I'm so grateful for that coat. I've noticed that even on my very coldest days, if I'm wearing that coat and if I have my ears covered, I'm plenty warm for this Arizona weather. Today was one of the coldest days we've had, and I wasn't cold at all wearing that coat. I did want to share a little experience because it meant a lot to me. I was out walking a couple weeks ago, again on a cold and blustery day, and I was off on a back road, on a dirt road, and one of my neighbors drove by and she stopped. And I don't know this neighbor very well. Our sons were in a baseball team together last year, and that's really the extent of how I know her. But she told me that she's been watching me, and she told me that she's noticing how much I'm out walking and how committed I am. That particular day it was really cold, and so she noted that. And it just meant so much to me that she reached out to tell me that, to take a moment to tell me that, because I have worked hard at it, and I just appreciate the kind words that she said. Another thing that I wanted to talk about, thing that's really been helping me is Walmart grocery pickup. The first time I ever tried that was probably mid to early November. I've done it a handful of times since. Every week or two I put in an order, and it's so easy. I'm so appreciative of that. I'm able to get just what I want and not to bring my 10-year-old in the store and hate my life. And I'm able to focus on what I want, and I don't buy extra. We haven't had it available the last 4 or 5 days just because of a issue at the store, and I've really missed it. And so I put in an order for tomorrow, and I'm super grateful for that. Next thing I want to talk about was this ring. The last video I talked a little bit about how I had a really, my husband for my anniversary surprised me with an anniversary ring. I had asked him to get me a cheap, inexpensive ring that fit me, that I could wear in place of my wedding rings, because my wedding rings haven't fit in a really long time, and I knew that they weren't going to fit in a long time. When he gave me this anniversary ring that didn't meet any of the requirements I asked for, I tried it on next to my wedding ring, and it was so beautiful, and I just had the very sudden strong spark idea that I should just get my wedding rings resized. That's not something I've ever even wanted to do or thought of before. And so I did it, and I just got them back last week, and I'm so, so, so happy with them. I don't think I've been able to wear my wedding rings in probably 5 years. So I'm super grateful to have that symbol back, and I think they're beautiful. And I just love them so much. I'm so grateful that I was able to recognize that I was using my wedding rings not fitting as more of a punishment than I was using it as a motivator or a reward. And I'm sorry I did that, but I'll watch for it in the future and move on. I'm grateful that I have that spark idea now, and I have wedding rings that fit me. So some of the sparks that I've been working on since the last video, some of these are new, some of them are probably additive. For a long time, I've been working on 4 cups of produce a day. I talked in the last video also about being at harmony with where we're at now, our subconscious being at harmony with the state that we're in. And I decided, over Christmas, I definitely was in harmony with where I was at. I wanted to enjoy Christmas. I didn't want to focus on weight loss or improving my health situation. I was okay with enjoying the season, but I'm not there now. I'm no longer in harmony with where I'm at. And when I reflected on what things I can do that I know will make positive change, one thing I recognized is that when I eat a lot more produce than 4 cups, that's when I really see some positive change in my health. And I'm talking like 6 to 8 cups. And so I'm going to focus more on that and recognize that and focus more on that. I've been hovering around the same 7 or 8 pounds for a month and a half, and I'm done with it. I'm ready to move on. And so I would say the last 4 or 5 days I've been doing this, and I am seeing positive progress on this. So grateful for that. So another thing that I decided to try to do was to focus on eating homemade, whole grain, organic kamut bread. I like to eat peanut butter sandwich with fruit for breakfast pretty much every day. I will say that initially this spark of inspiration was probably 95% driven by taste. Homemade bread is so much more delicious than store-bought bread. I've made bread for most of my life. I have a good recipe I like. I can do it fairly easily. And I've done it on and off depending on what season I'm in, how busy I am, those kind of things, whether I'm eating carbs or not, those kind of things. I am definitely eating carbs this go around, and I'm definitely intending to eat carbs for a good long time. Anyway, I was also recognizing, like when I started thinking about this, have you ever noticed that, like how long the shelf life is on a loaf of store-bought bread? It's weeks before it starts to go bad if you leave it out of the fridge. That's not the case with homemade bread. I would say it's 2-3 days before I start to see mold, or the quality, the taste quality makes a difference. And so, but it freezes well and it lasts a long time in the refrigerator. So I did want to point that out. And so I just started thinking about the amount of preservatives I was eating as well in store-bought bread, and I don't want to do that to myself. So the next one, like kamut or organic versus whole wheat, I don't have a particular reason other than I think it's better for me to eat kamut. Taste-wise, whole wheat and kamut taste about the same to me. They're both delicious to me. But I have read many years ago that a lot of people that are gluten intolerant are actually not gluten intolerant. They're just intolerant of the harvesting process, I guess, that is used for normal wheat. From what I understand, to initiate the harvest process for non-organic wheat, they spray it with something similar to Roundup, and that's what initiates the harvesting cycle. But organic wheat is not done that way. And so some people that are perceived as gluten intolerant are actually intolerant of that method of harvesting, the pesticide, or I guess it's not a pesticide, herbicide, is that what the word is, used to initiate the harvest. And so I'm going to try organic, see if it, I just feel like I should, is what I'm going to move towards. Kamut is hard to find and it's really expensive, so this is a bit of a commitment. But last time I went to make bread, I just was drawn to it, and so I did it again. I just made some more kamut, and so I'm going to keep looking for sources and try to keep that up. The next thing I want to talk about was figuring out how to get more protein into my diet. So my husband and I actually has talked a lot about this, and we were going to Tucson the other day, and we just started to actively brainstorm and look things up. We have a goal to get 100 grams of protein into our diet a day. I don't know if that's the right goal for us, but it's a starting point. And so we just walked through what we were eating, and I just started looking them up and writing them down. And a couple things that we learned is that it's totally possible to get 100 grams of protein with the diet that we were eating with some tweaks. I'm going to have to actively try, but some things were better than I thought they were, and some things were worse than I thought they were. These are very, very round numbers. So please accept that there's some room for some rounding here. But what I was surprised to learn is that a lot of things that I typically eat for breakfast, or that my family typically eats for breakfast, have approximately the same protein values. A slice of kamut bread, 2 tablespoons of peanut butter, an egg, cheese, ham, all those, one serving size has about the same amount of protein. I didn't realize that. And so if I eat my kamut bread and my peanut butter, or if I eat kamut bread and egg and cheese, maybe a slice of ham, I'm getting about the same protein, and I'm happy with that. Also, what we recognize is that we have to be probably a little more intentional about getting enough meat or a substitute of beans. I don't think either of us were getting enough, and so we intentionally cooked up some meat, and we're making an effort to eat that in at least one of our meals. So if I eat a cup of meat in one of my meals, if I eat a normal healthy meal for my third meal, and if I eat my typical breakfast, I'm pretty sure I can get my protein amounts. We also recognize that if we ate yogurt, cheese, cottage cheese, those kind of things, that we could get more. Neither of us really like yogurt. We just overate it in our life. And cottage cheese I really like, but I only really like it with summer fruit, so I don't really eat it right now. Brazil nuts is another thing. I'm trying to eat that anyway for selenium content, and that helps a little bit. So we're getting there. We have at least a goal in mind and a process to get there. The next thing that I thought that I should pursue is getting a follow-up on medical testing and hair scan. What's helping, what's my next steps. So about a year ago, I was in a state where I was very, very exhausted and fatigued, and I didn't know why. And so I decided that I needed to go to the doctor and try to figure that out. I went to multiple doctors. I went and got a hair scan. I went and got blood work. I went to my cardiologist, several cardiologists. And I wouldn't say that anything helped identify the issue. However, as I've worked on my health the last 6 months, my fatigue has completely turned around, and I no longer feel that level of energy zapping that I did then, and I feel capable of doing a lot more than I did. And I don't know what out of all these things helped it, but I think something did, and it would be good to know where I stand on numbers and things to focus on now. There's a few things that I think helped the most. One of them is I cut caffeine a lot. I cut down from 4 caffeinated sodas to 1 caffeinated soda a day. If I was experiencing adrenal fatigue, I think that helped. I'm eating way better. I mentioned I got a hair scan about a year ago. I didn't follow everything that was recommended. I followed a few of them. I'm curious to know if those have helped. One of them was switching to natural deodorant to help with metal detox. I'm curious to know if that helped, because I did do that. Also eating more Brazil nuts, I did do that. But I'm not taking the supplements that were recommended. I didn't stick with that. But I'm eating way healthier, so I'm curious to know if that's helped. I've also had a sore heel for a couple of months, and it's not super sore, but it's not getting better. And I have hesitated to ramp up any kind of exercise program, especially walking, because I don't want to make my injury worse. And so I made an appointment to go get my ankle, or it's my heel, it's not my ankle, get my heel checked on and see if I can get it better. At least not make it worse. That's my plan. Some of the other things I've done is I am intentionally acting as if on my why. I want to actively hike, and that has been one of my biggest drivers. Actively hike and actively vacation. And so I'm just doing it. I'm following a couple of hiking influencers. I've really enjoyed watching them. They've given me some great ideas of places to put on my bucket list and places to go. One of my favorites is Jess Kesty 96. She's in Arizona, and she hikes every week, and I love her hikes, and a lot of them are on my list of places I really want to go. I also joined Facebook groups for Havasupai and Grand Canyon hiking. I'm going to book them. And I'm super excited about those, because those are 2 hikes that I really wanted to do. A number of years ago, probably 17, 18 years ago, I went on a hike with my aunt and uncle and cousin to Druid Arch. And what I remember is it was a long hike, and it was so rewarding and so fulfilling. And my aunt and uncle actually gave me a framed group of photos from that hike. And I don't have it hanging up in my house because I don't have any photos in my house right now. Just I haven't put them up since we moved. That's not true. We put up our son's photos, but I have limited photos in my house. But I just had the spark that I needed to get that photo collage out and put it up and use that as a really good memory of a really great experience, and use that to help me remember and picture what I really want. And so I've done that, and I pulled that out, and it's sitting on my next to my nightstand now. So there's been a couple of influencers, other than hiking, influencers that have shared some goals that are helping them, and I thought that they were really useful ones. One of them shared about having positive goals and not exclusionary goals. And so the example that he used is, I want to, rather than I'm not going to eat sugar, I'm going to add protein. I'm going to look for ways to add protein. I love that. That actually, I feel like, has been a key to the success I've had so far on this journey. Is I have definitely focused on what I'm adding rather than what I'm taking away. And I'm focusing on enjoying rather than, in a sense, punishing myself, is what I feel like when I make goals that rely on willpower or that are exclusionary. And so I just liked that perspective. Another one, there is an influencer, Ashley Rose Reeves, and she is working on a plan right now for homes that heal. And so her thought is that when we live in a chaotic or cluttered state in our homes, that impacts us in many, many ways. And so she's making an effort to declutter her house, and she's invited all of us along to do the same. And she's made a calendar of 31 areas to organize and clean out in 31 days. And I love, love, love the concept. I'm not able to keep up, but I'm doing it at my own pace. But I totally believe that the clutter in our homes is just clutter in our minds, and that doesn't help in our healthy state in any way. And so I'm totally embracing that, and I'm doing what I can at a slower pace than what she's doing. Another thing that we've done, and this is going back with acting as if, my husband and I have been real intentional about what we want to do for vacations going forward this year. Every year we've tried to do some quality vacations. And usually we are spur of the moment. And we do something that sounds fun or that seems like we're capable of. And we decided, we only have 8 years left with my son at home. We need to really prioritize doing things that we actually really want to do on our bucket list. And so we're making plans to do that for spring break and for the summer, and to do some really intentional vacations that we really want to do in our lives, especially ones that we can share with our son in the time that he's home. So I just wanted to talk a little bit about some of the things that, as I've gained more energy and have been able to address a lot of the things that I was not in harmony with for a long time in my home, back to, having clutter in our home or just feeling chaos in my home. I'm super happy how the last month has gone, because I've really been really intentional about trying to address some of these, and totally and really capable. That's probably the key, is I've been really capable of addressing some of these, which I wasn't capable for a really long time. So in the last month, I've cleaned out my closet. I have purged shoes from our house. We've cleaned out and sorted all of the shoes and gotten rid of them. We refinished our patio chairs. We sanded, we primed, we painted, we got new cushions. we had wanted new patio chairs, and when we sourced the price and really the quality, we decided our 20-year-old plus chairs were perfectly sufficient and in great shape. They took a lot of work to refinish them, but they look fantastic. And I got to give my husband a lot of credit for that because he did a lot of that work, but I'm super grateful that he was willing and able to help me with that. I purged and organized our pantry. I'm in the middle of purging and organizing my bathroom. We had a donation pile that was taking up about a quarter of our garage. It's been there to some extent for about a year. The other day I had a lot of family over and I took them out there and I just asked them if there's anything they wanted. And I'm super grateful because everything except for 2 or 3 things got claimed. And now I have a small box instead of a quarter of my garage. That's going to go a long ways towards my goals and towards my family's goals. I told my husband after that my goal, we have a goal to buy a truck soon. We don't have one. And I told my husband that I wanted to create a vacuum and create a space in our garage for a truck. And when I told him that, his eyes lit up and he's like, oh my gosh, I'm so on board with that goal. So that's in support of that. And that's what we're wanting to draw towards us, is a truck that's right for our family. We've cleaned out the garage after that. And we're actively planning and addressing things around our house projects. We're getting a new roof soon. We're getting new ACs. We're making a list of the next things that we're doing. And I'm just super grateful that I feel like I'm capable of addressing some of those things that have really bothered me for a really, really, really long time. I'm super grateful that I'm able to experience these and live in the why right now. And thank you all for your support, and I love you all.